The sky turned an unusual shade of purple the day the aliens came. Not just any aliens, but representatives of the Galactic Council. For decades, humans had sent signals into space, hoping for a response. When it finally came, it wasn't what anyone expected. John Palmer stood on the platform, adjusting his tie nervously. As Earth's chosen ambassador, the weight of humanity rested on his shoulders. The massive alien ship hovered above the United Nations complex in New York, casting shadows over the crowd of dignitaries and curious onlookers. "Remember, diplomatic but firm," whispered Maria Sanchez, his chief advisor. "We represent all of Earth today." John nodded, his mouth dry. The landing ramp of the ship extended with a soft hiss. 3 figures descended, each alien more bizarre than anything Hollywood had imagined. The tallest had deep blue skin and 4 arms. Another resembled an overgrown insect with compound eyes. The third looked almost human, except for the silver scales covering its skin. "Greetings, representatives of Earth." The tallest alien spoke, its voice translated through a device at its throat. "I am Salon, primary speaker for the Galactic Council's First Contact Division." John stepped forward, extending his hand before remembering the briefing about alien customs. He quickly withdrew it. "On behalf of Earth, we welcome you and hope for peaceful relations between our worlds." The aliens exchanged glances. The insect-like one made a clicking sound that the translator didn't catch. John noticed the slight curl at the edge of Xalan's mouth. Was that amusement? "We have observed your planet for some time," Xalan continued. "The Council has classified Earth as a Class 3 developing species. This entitles you to certain protections under our laws." Maria stepped closer to John. "Class 3. What does that designation mean?" The scaled alien spoke this time. "It means you have achieved basic spaceflight, but lack unified planetary government and have not yet mastered faster-than-light travel. Essentially, you are in your technological adolescence." John felt his face grow hot. The condescension in the alien's tone was unmistakable. The formal meeting moved inside the UN building. Representatives from major Earth nations gathered around a large table, facing the alien delegation. Screens displayed the proceedings to billions watching worldwide. The Galactic Council consists of 67 spacefaring civilizations, Xalan explained. "We maintain order and ensure developing worlds don't harm themselves or others as they grow." "And Earth's role in this council?" asked the Chinese representative. The insect alien made that clicking sound again, and this time John definitely saw smirks among the aliens. "Earth has no role yet," Xalan said. "Perhaps in a few centuries, when you've advanced further, we might consider observer status." The meeting continued for hours. The aliens presented star charts, showed holographic images of Council worlds, and outlined basic interstellar laws. With each presentation, the message became clearer. Earth was considered a backwater, barely worth notice except for one thing. "Your planet contains remarkable biodiversity and mineral resources," the scaled alien mentioned. "The Council's protection protocols ensure developing worlds receive fair compensation when more advanced civilizations assist with resource management." Admiral Frank Nelson, representing Earth's military forces, leaned forward. "Are you suggesting taking our resources?" "Not taking," Xalan corrected smoothly. "Managing. Your extraction methods are primitive and damaging. We could help." As the meeting concluded, John felt a growing unease. Behind the diplomatic language and promises of guidance, he sensed something predatory in the alien's attitude. Later, at the private reception, John overheard the aliens speaking to each other when they thought no humans were within earshot. Easier than expected, the insect alien clicked. "They're so eager for validation. They didn't question the resource protocols." "Another client species in the making," Xalan agreed. "The Council will approve the preliminary extraction permits within the lunar cycle." John slipped away quietly, finding Maria and Admiral Nelson. "We need to be careful," he whispered. "I don't think they see us as equals. or even potential equals. Admiral Nelson's face darkened. They're underestimating us. That might be the only advantage we have. Lieutenant Susan Wright adjusted her Earth Diplomatic Corps uniform and took a deep breath before entering the Grand Hall of the Galactic Council's headquarters. Located on a massive space station orbiting a neutral star, the hall buzzed with representatives from dozens of spacefaring civilizations. 6 months had passed since first contact, and Earth had been granted minimal diplomatic presence, one small office staffed by a rotating team of 5 humans. Susan carried a tray of drinks, part of her cultural attaché cover. In reality, she was Earth intelligence, recording everything with microscopic devices embedded in her uniform buttons. "Ah, the Earth creature returns," called out Delegate Vorn, a reptilian being with emerald scales. His companions laughed as Susan approached their circle. "Would any delegates care for Earth refreshments?" she asked, maintaining a pleasant expression despite the knot in her stomach. "How quaint," Vorn replied, taking a glass. "Tell me, does your species still believe you'll earn voting rights within a standard decade?" His companions chittered with amusement. Susan noted that none of them bothered to lower their voices or switch to private communication channels. They simply didn't consider humans worth the effort of discretion. "We remain hopeful for productive relations," Susan replied diplomatically. "I've placed substantial credits on your species accepting protectorate status within 5 Earth years," said another alien, this one floating in a containment suit filled with greenish liquid. The Meberry thought it would take 8, but they don't understand resource pressure tactics like we Krell do. Susan moved among the groups, collecting snippets of conversation. The pattern was clear. Earth wasn't seen as a potential partner, but as future territory. In another corner of the hall, Captain Eric Donovan faced similar treatment. Officially registered as a military observer, Eric had spent weeks trying to access even basic information about Council defense structures. "Your application to observe our training facilities has been denied again," said military liaison Zax, a hulking 4-armed being. "Perhaps when Earth has ships that can actually leave your solar system unassisted, we can reconsider. We're simply trying to understand Council defense protocols," Eric responded calmly. "Earth wishes to contribute to galactic security eventually." Zax and his companions burst into rumbling laughter. "Your most advanced warships would be considered pleasure craft among our civilizations," Zax said. "We've analyzed your military capabilities. Primitive projectile weapons, rudimentary energy shields, nuclear propulsion, hardly worthy of consideration." Eric maintained his composure, even as his recording devices captured everything. Later that evening, Susan and Eric met in their tiny diplomatic quarters, secure from surveillance thanks to countermeasures smuggled from Earth. "They've already drafted plans for Earth's oceans," Susan reported, reviewing her findings. "The Krell want to establish massive harvesting operations for our deep-sea minerals." Eric nodded grimly. "And I finally got access to their military assessment of Earth. They've classified us as minimal threat level, the lowest category. They believe our entire planetary defense could be neutralized by 2 of their mid-sized cruisers." Ambassador Palmer joined them, his face tired after a day of subtle humiliations at the Council's Economic Development Committee. "They denied our application to study their FTL drive technology," Palmer said. "But I managed to access the rejection documents. There were comments attached that weren't meant for us to see." He displayed a holographic document. Notes in various alien languages scrolled alongside the official rejection. The translation software worked through them slowly. Potential for unregulated expansion, naturally aggressive species, resource competition threat, maintained technological gap. Susan read aloud. "They're not just dismissing us," Eric realized. "They're actively working to keep us contained." Palmer looked between his colleagues. "The full Earth delegation returns home next week. We need to compile everything we've learned." "What good will it do?" Susan asked. "We're centuries behind our technology." Palmer's expression hardened. "They think we're just hurt pride. But every dismissal, Every mockery gives us something valuable. What's that? Eric asked. Information, Palmer replied. And time to prepare while they underestimate us. The United Nations Hall fell silent as the evidence from the Galactic Council meetings played on the large screens. For 5 hours, Earth's leaders watched recordings of aliens mocking humanity, planning to exploit Earth's resources, and discussing how easily they could conquer the planet if needed. Ladies and gentlemen, Ambassador Palmer said as the final recording ended, we face a choice. Accept our place as a future client species or prepare to defend ourselves. What followed was the most unified response in human history. The Earth Defense Accord was signed by every nation within 1 month. Old enemies set aside differences as a new 5-year plan was implemented in secret. Dr. Lisa Martinez leaned over her workbench, dark circles under her eyes. She hadn't slept properly in days. Around her, a team of engineers and physicists worked frantically in the underground facility buried beneath the New Mexico desert. I think I've figured out how their shield technology works, she said, pointing to a dissected alien communication device, one of the few pieces of technology the Council had gifted to Earth. They didn't expect us to break it down to its components. The power regulation system uses principles we never considered. Across the room, Dr. Alan Ryder looked up from his computer. If you're right, we could adapt this to our existing satellite network. Lisa nodded. Not as powerful as their shields, but enough to surprise them if they think we're defenseless. While scientists worked below ground, humanity transformed above. Factory production shifted subtly worldwide. Consumer electronics companies began producing components that, while seemingly normal, could be quickly converted for military applications. Shipping containers were redesigned to become modular spacecraft components. Commander Peter Holloway floated in the secret orbital training facility, watching as 50 men and women practiced combat maneuvers in zero gravity. Again, he ordered as a team struggled with the new magnetic weapons. The Council races rely on energy shields. Our projectiles need to be faster and smarter. A young soldier named Gary Wilson pushed off a wall, firing his weapon at a moving target. The specialized round altered course mid-flight, striking perfectly. Better, Peter said. Remember, most Council species have never faced actual combat. Their automated defense systems follow predictable patterns. Meanwhile, deep in the asteroid belt, mining operations served as cover for Earth's most ambitious project. Admiral Kate Franklin surveyed the construction of Earth's first true warships. How's our stealth capability? She asked the chief engineer. We've incorporated materials that absorb the energy frequencies their scanners use, he replied. As long as we stay powered down, their routine patrols shouldn't detect us. Kate studied the holographic display showing the ship designs. They didn't match the elegant curves of Council vessels. Earth ships were blocky, practical, and built for surprise attacks rather than extended battles. We can't match their firepower, Kate had told the Military Council months earlier. But we can change the nature of the fight. Her strategy focused on Earth's advantages: human unpredictability, willingness to take risks, and the element of surprise. The Council believed humans were decades from developing certain technologies. They didn't realize how quickly humans could adapt when united against a common threat. In orbit around Jupiter, hidden from Council observation posts, test flights of the prototype engines began. Based on partial data gathered by intelligence officers, Earth scientists had created a modified version of faster-than-light travel. Not as efficient as theirs, the lead engineer explained to General Scott Baker, but they'll never expect us to have it at all. Throughout these 5 years of preparation, Earth maintained its appearance as a humble, developing world. Diplomatic representatives continued to endure Council mockery. Trade agreements were signed, allowing limited Council presence in Earth's orbit. Carefully monitored observation posts rather than the military bases they'd originally demanded. The Council observers reported back regularly. The humans continue normal development patterns. No significant military advancement. No signs of unified planetary defense strategy. They never noticed the factories buried in mountains, the training facilities hidden beneath ocean platforms, or the ships gradually assembling in the shadow of distant moons. Earth was ready. The alarm blared through Earth Defense Headquarters at 3:17 a.m. Admiral Kate Franklin ran into the command center, still pulling on her uniform jacket. "Status report," she demanded. "Council ships just appeared in orbit," reported Officer Julia Reed. "A lot of them. No warning, no communication." The main screen showed 12 massive vessels surrounding Earth. They weren't the usual diplomatic cruisers or observer ships. These were heavy mining platforms, each nearly 2 miles long. "They're deploying smaller craft," another officer reported. "Descent trajectories suggest Pacific Ocean targets." Kate's blood ran cold. The intelligence had been right. The Council had decided to begin resource extraction without bothering to inform Earth first. "Any communication from them?" she asked. "Just one automated message to all Earth governments stating that approved resource management operations are beginning under some subsection of Council law we supposedly agreed to." Kate opened a secure channel to the President. "Madam President, it's happening." "I'm seeing it," the President replied, her voice tense. "What about Neptune Station?" Before Kate could answer, a new alert sounded. "Emergency transmission from Neptune Research Station," called Communications Officer Greg Butler. "They report Council ships are ordering them to evacuate." The Neptune Station was officially a scientific outpost studying the gas giant. In reality, it housed Earth's early warning system and a critical communications relay for the hidden fleet. "Put them through," Kate ordered. The screen flickered to show the station commander, his face pale. "Admiral, 5 Council vessels just appeared. They're claiming this sector has been designated for gas harvesting operations, and we're in violation of Council space regulations." "Stall them," Kate ordered. "Tell them you need time to secure research data." "We're trying, but—" A violent shake interrupted him. Alarms blared in the background. "They've locked tractor beams on us. They're saying we have 10 minutes to evacuate before they move the station themselves." Kate turned to her staff. "How long to get our nearest ships there?" 30 minutes at emergency speed," came the grim reply. On screen, the station commander shouted orders to his crew. "They're starting to pull us now. The structural integrity field can't." The transmission cut to static. Everyone in the command center froze. Officer Butler worked frantically at his console. "Neptune Station is gone," he finally said. "I'm picking up debris field readings consistent with catastrophic structural failure." "How many personnel?" Kate asked quietly. 73, Admiral." The room fell silent. Then Kate's secure line beeped. The President again. "I saw," the President said before Kate could speak. "Are we certain it was deliberate?" "The station's structural specifications were filed with the Council," Kate replied. "They knew it couldn't withstand that kind of force." The President was silent for a moment. "Implement Diplomatic Protocol 5, then prepare for Protocol 9. "Yes, Madam President." Within an hour, Ambassador William Harrison stood before the emergency session of the Galactic Council. His formal diplomatic attire contrasted with his ashen face. "The United Nations of Earth demands an explanation for the destruction of Neptune Research Station and the death of 73 civilians," he stated, his voice echoing in the chamber. Valon, now the senior council representative, appeared annoyed at being summoned. "The humans failed to evacuate an illegal outpost in a designated resource zone. If your structures cannot withstand standard relocation procedures, that is unfortunate, but not Council responsibility." "Unfortunate." William's voice rose. "You murdered 73 people." Murmurs rippled through the Council chamber. Many delegates seemed surprised by the humans' defiance. "Watch your tone, Ambassador," Xalan warned. "Your species operates on Council goodwill. The incident will be reviewed according to standard procedures for Class 3 developmental casualties." Earth demands immediate withdrawal of all mining vessels from Earth orbit and Neptune. William continued, ignoring the warning. Laughter echoed through the chamber. Or what? Asked a Krell delegate. Your species can barely reach your outer planets. William straightened his shoulders. Earth hereby issues formal notice. All Council vessels must withdraw from Sol system within 24 hours. The laughter grew louder. Your primitive threats are noted, Ambassador, Xalan said dismissively. Now, return to your quarters while the adults continue necessary work. William turned without another word and left the chamber. Back on Earth, the President received his report and nodded grimly. Send the code, she told Admiral Franklin. Operation First Strike is now active. The Galactic Council's mining operation above Earth continued without pause. Massive ships lowered extraction equipment toward the Pacific Ocean. On their command bridges, alien officers monitored Earth's responses with amusement. The humans are mobilizing their primitive naval vessels, reported a Krell officer on the lead mining ship. Apparently, they think water-based ships can threaten us. The ship commander, a veteran named Drav, chuckled. Let them posture. Their most advanced weapons couldn't penetrate our atmospheric shields. In the shadows of Mars, 30 Earth ships silently powered up. Hidden for years in the asteroid belt and Mars orbit, these vessels represented humanity's true response to the Council threat. They looked nothing like traditional human spacecraft. Their blocky, angular designs incorporated stolen and reverse-engineered alien technology. Admiral Kate Franklin's voice came through on the secure channel. All vessels, commence Operation First Strike. Your targets are uploaded, weapons free. Major Nickel Reynolds sat in the command chair of the Earth ship Defiance. At 32, she had spent the last 5 years training for this moment. Engage stealth systems, she ordered. Set course for mining platform Alpha 3. Similar orders echoed across the Earth fleet. The ships accelerated, their modified engines pushing them toward their targets without triggering Council early warning systems. On the Council mining vessel, an alert suddenly sounded. Energy signature approaching, the Krell officer reported, confused. But it's impossible. Nothing registered on long-range scanners. Commander Drav moved to the console. Identify. I can't. It's using an unknown propulsion system, but the size suggests. The ship rocked violently as something struck their shields. Shields at 60%, shouted another officer. What kind of weapon was that? Outside, the Defiance circled for another attack run. Its main gun fired again. A modified mass accelerator weapon designed specifically to overwhelm Council shield frequencies. Across Earth orbit, the scene repeated. Council ships, caught completely unprepared, faced attacks from vessels they hadn't detected until it was too late. All mining vessels under attack. Came the distress call to Council headquarters. Unknown enemy using advanced weapons. On the Defiance, Nickel watched as the mining ship shields flickered and failed. Boarding teams ready, she ordered. Prepare to capture that vessel. 50 Earth Marines in specialized combat armor launched from the Defiance. Using personal thrusters, they crossed to the crippled Council ship and breached its hull. Lieutenant Frank Martinez led the boarding party, moving through alien corridors with practiced precision. The Marine teams had trained for years in mock-ups of Council vessels, based on intelligence gathered by Earth spies. Remember, non-lethal if possible, Frank ordered. We need prisoners and intact systems. The Council crew, mostly engineers and miners rather than soldiers, surrendered quickly. Few Council species had faced actual combat in generations, relying instead on automated defense systems and overwhelming technological superiority. Within an hour, 5 Council mining ships had been captured. 3 more had been destroyed when they attempted to flee. The remaining vessels had jumped to faster-than-light travel, abandoning their comrades. Frank secured the command bridge of his target vessel, approaching the captured commander. You're human, the alien said in disbelief. How is this possible? Your species doesn't have this technology. Frank removed his helmet. You should have paid closer attention to what we were building instead of laughing at us. At the same moment, in 3 different star systems, Earth's other attack groups struck Council mining operations. These facilities, operating far from Council military protection, had been identified as critical targets during Earth's years of intelligence gathering. At a Council outpost in the Proxima Centauri system, the station commander stared in horror as human ships appeared without warning. "Impossible," she whispered. "Humans don't have faster-than-light capability." Her second-in-command frantically sent emergency signals. No response from Central Command. "They're jamming our communications." Back in the Council headquarters, emergency alarms blared as reports flooded in from multiple sectors. Mining operations under attack in 3 systems, reported a frantic aide to Senior Representative Talon. "And Earth orbit. We've lost contact with most vessels there." Zalon's face darkened. "Call an emergency council session and mobilize the defense fleet." The aide hesitated. "Sir, the defense fleet is scattered across 12 systems. It will take days to assemble." Zalon slammed his 4 fists down. "How did this happen? They're just humans." The emergency council session descended into chaos. Representatives shouted accusations at each other, while Zalon struggled to maintain order. "The humans have captured 5 of our mining vessels and destroyed 3 more," reported the military commander. "They've also attacked mining operations in the Proxima, Ta Ceti, and Epsilon Eridani systems." "How is this possible?" demanded the Krell ambassador. "They were rated as a Class 3 species with minimal space capability." "Clearly our intelligence was flawed," snapped the Mibari representative. "The question is how to respond." Zalon raised all 4 of his arms. "Enough. The answer is simple. We will assemble our full military might and crush this human rebellion." Their surprise attacks succeeded only because we were unprepared. A coordinated response will quickly put them back in their place. The Council voted unanimously to authorize a military strike against Earth. Within 3 days, a fleet of 30 Council warships assembled at their nearest military base and prepared to jump to the Sol system. Fleet Commander Jax addressed his captains before departure. "This will be a simple operation. These humans have shown some unexpected capability, but they cannot stand against our combined firepower. We will target their major cities first, forcing a quick surrender." The massive Council fleet appeared in Earth orbit, expecting to find a planet in disarray. Instead, they found themselves facing a prepared defense grid. In Colorado, engineer Olivia Dawson monitored the orbital shield network from her command center deep underground. For 5 years, she had overseen the installation of thousands of small satellites, disguised as communications and weather monitoring devices. Now those satellites linked together, creating an energy field across Earth's atmosphere. "Council fleet has arrived," reported her assistant. 30 vessels, heavy weapons charge." Olivia nodded calmly. "Activate the grid." Above, the Council ships opened fire, expecting their energy weapons to slice through Earth's atmosphere and strike major cities. Instead, their beams hit the previously invisible shield grid and dissipated. "Shields holding at 82%, Olivia's assistant reported. "The dispersal system is working." On the Council command ship, Fleet Commander Jax stared in disbelief. "Impossible. Their planetary shields should be decades beyond their technology." Before he could order a second volley, alerts sounded across his bridge. Multiple contacts emerging from Earth's moon. His sensor officer shouted. From hidden bases on the far side of the moon, Earth's reserve fleet launched. These ships, built in secret lunar facilities, had remained hidden specifically for this counterattack. Colonel Ryan Patterson commanded this second wave from his flagship Guardian. A veteran fighter pilot before the alien contact, he had helped design Earth's unconventional space combat tactics. "All ships, engage as planned," he ordered. "Remember your training. They expect conventional attacks. Give them chaos instead." The Earth vessels didn't form a traditional battle line. Instead, they scattered, attacking from multiple angles, using the moon's gravity to slingshot into unexpected trajectories. Council ships, accustomed to formal fleet engagements, struggled to track the erratic movements. Earth vessels fired specialized weapons designed to bypass Council shields by matching and then disrupting their frequency patterns. Third quadrant defenses failing, reported an officer on Jax's ship. The humans are targeting our propulsion systems specifically. Jax watched in growing horror as his carefully arranged formation fell apart under the human assault. 4 Council ships had already lost engine power and were drifting helplessly. 3 more reported critical shield failures. "Order all vessels to regroup," he commanded. "Concentrate fire on their largest ships." But the humans refused to engage in the kind of battle the Council expected. Their smaller vessels darted between the massive Council warships, firing precision strikes at vulnerable points, then disappearing before concentrated return fire could lock on. On Earth, government leaders watched the battle unfold through secure feeds. "They expected us to fight like them," the president observed. "That's been their mistake from the beginning." After 6 hours of combat, the Council fleet faced disaster. 12 ships had been disabled or destroyed. The others had suffered significant damage. No major Earth cities had been hit, and the orbital defense grid still held at 64% capacity. Fleet Commander Jax made the difficult decision. "All vessels, emergency jump to Rally Point Omega. Retreat." Repeat, all vessels retreat. Space Station Epsilon hung suspended between worlds, its neutral status making it the perfect location for the most significant diplomatic meeting in recent galactic history. 6 months had passed since the Council fleet retreated from Earth. 6 months of scattered battles across multiple systems as humanity pushed its unexpected advantage. Chief Negotiator Samantha Chen stood at the viewport, watching as ships from 12 different species docked at the station. Her gray suit was simple but elegant, projecting the quiet confidence Earth now carried into galactic affairs. "The Krell delegation has arrived," her assistant informed her. "That's the last of them." Samantha nodded. "And our terms package. Ready for distribution once the meeting begins." The conference room was a testament to the changed galactic power dynamics. Where once Earth representatives had been relegated to the smallest seats at the back, now they occupied a prominent position. Samantha took her place at the central table, facing representatives from the fragmented council. Valen entered last, his once proud posture now stiff with forced dignity. 4 of his arms showed healing injuries from an assassination attempt by his own people after the military defeat. "This conference will come to order," announced the neutral moderator, a member of an ancient species that had withdrawn from council politics centuries ago. "Earth has called for these peace negotiations and has prepared terms." Samantha stood. "Thank you. 6 months ago, the Galactic Council authorized an unprovoked attack on Earth following our justified defense against illegal mining operations. That attack failed. Since then, Earth forces have disabled 37% of Council military capacity and disrupted resource operations in 14 systems. She paused, letting the statistics sink in. Many delegates shifted uncomfortably. However, humans don't desire endless war. We want peaceful coexistence, but on terms that respect our sovereignty and right to self-determination. A holographic display activated, showing Earth's proposed peace terms. First, dissolution of the current council structure, which has proven corrupt and exploitative toward developing worlds. Murmurs filled the room, but no one objected. The council had been fracturing from within since the first defeats, with many species withdrawing support. Second, establishment of a new galactic cooperative, where membership is truly equal regardless of technological development stage. The Miberi representative leaned forward. "You expect species that have been spacefaring for thousands of years to accept equal status with newcomers?" "Yes," Samantha replied simply. "Technological advancement doesn't equate to moral superiority, something the past 6 months have demonstrated." She continued through the terms: reparations for the Neptune station deaths, recognition of Earth's territorial claims, technology sharing agreements, and mutual defense pacts. Finally, We propose a truth commission to investigate and publish council records regarding the exploitation of other developing worlds. This caused the greatest stir. Many delegates conferred urgently with their staffs. Zalon rose slowly. These terms amount to complete surrender of council authority. The council's authority was already lost, Samantha countered. Not through our actions, but through your own arrogance. We offer a path forward that benefits all species, not just the traditionally powerful. The negotiations continued for 3 days. Earth made minor concessions on implementation timelines, but held firm on the core principles. With each passing hour, more council species broke ranks to negotiate separately with Earth, sensing the inevitability of change. On the final day, the new Galactic Cooperative Charter was signed by 39 species, including most former council members. The remaining hardliners faced isolation in an interconnected galaxy. As the delegates departed, General Daniel Morrison joined Samantha at the viewport, a veteran of the Neptune Station Response Fleet. He now commanded Earth's expanded space forces. "Congratulations," he said quietly. "History will remember this day." Samantha watched the ships departing. "I keep thinking about those first meetings, when they laughed at our technology and our diplomats." Daniel nodded. They never understood that treating someone as inferior doesn't make them inferior. It just gives them motivation to prove you wrong. "Was it worth the cost?" Samantha asked. "The lives lost." "I ask myself that every day," Daniel replied. "We didn't start this war. We simply refused to accept the role they assigned us.